guys, summer is over. Cue the sad violin music. But it is not all terrible because fall time does allow us to put together some of the hardest outfits. And of course, one of the most important parts of those outfits are the sneakers. So today, I'm getting you guys prepped with the top 10 best sneakers for fall. And if there's any of these sneakers on today's list that catch your eye or you want to check them out, I'll leave them all linked down in the description. But coming in at number 10, the Fear of God Adidas LA Hiker. Now, I know what you're thinking. Elliot, that freaking collab is cooked. It fell off. It was a flop to begin with. Look, I agree to some extent. That was mainly for the clothing, but the sneakers, they're real gems. And one of my favorites has to be the LA Hiker. Arguably one of the better, more underrated silhouettes from this entire collaboration. And that's a good thing because, I mean, I got my pair for like 55% off online. Like, you can find these things for a steal. They're great quality because their intended price point was way higher. These things are covered in a really nice soft suede leather. They're super well made and durable. It's great for like someone who lives in a place where it's like raining a lot or the weather is not the best. They even have extended rubber onto the upper to protect you from getting dirt onto your shoes or like rain splashing beside it and getting onto the sneaker. Now, sadly, this shoe only comes in 2 colorways. I assume they saw them sitting on shelves and decided not to make any more, but that is the black and the tan pair. Overall, it's a great pair of shoes regardless of the season. Honestly, I love the way that these things look with shorts. But yeah, if you wanted to pick up a steal, definitely recommend the LA Hiker. Coming in at number 9, we got the Nike City or C1TY, whatever we're calling these things. Now, this sneaker kind of became super popular for being a Tom Sachs general purpose shoe ripoff. And well, it is. But that is definitely a good thing. You know, hey, if you like the Tom Sachs general purpose shoe and all of the utility that that sneaker brought to the table, well, these are practically identical and built with the same ethos of being super durable and wearable for every single scenario, but cheaper. There's also a lot of people who just don't want anything to do with Tom Sachs sneakers and collaborations. Well, this one's a great option because you don't have him as part of it. Now, I will say if you do love specifically the general purpose shoe, you can still buy that pair of sneakers. I'm sure they're going to be making more colorways in the future. They already announced, Nike and Tom Sachs, that they're going to be making more, but those will cost a little bit more. They might still have that hype factor. So, I mean, I just think this is almost a no-brainer if you like this style of shoe. It's comfortable, super durable. You can even find premium versions like the Cadora one where it has like elevated materials to be more weatherized, to simple looking, just great throw on everyday pair. Right, coming in at number 8, we got the New Balance 2010. This is definitely one of my favorite New Balance shoes to come out of 2025. To put it very simply, this pair of shoes is basically like all of these super premium New Balance sneakers that are, you know, made in the UK, made in the US, but for a much more affordable price point. It's got the same exact look as a lot of those more expensive shoes like the 990s or the 992s. The materials are great and the build quality and everything is what you know and love about New Balance. And another big pro is that like pretty much every single colorway that they've dropped on this model is just perfect for the full time. They're incredibly comfortable, perfect for everyday wear, and just, yeah, highly recommend this pair of sneakers. Taking the number 7 spot, we got the Asics Gel NYC. Out of the entire Asics lineup, the NYC has to be one of my favorite sneaker models for specifically the fall. Not only do they have some of the best colorways on this silhouette, especially some of the two-tone ones just go so hard, they've got utility versions, again, with those upgraded weatherized materials. The NYCs in general have nicer feeling materials like leathers and suedes as opposed to other different models from Asics lineup like synthetics and a lot of mesh. I probably don't need to tell you this, but it's an incredibly comfortable pair of shoes. I mean, that's kind of why a lot of people love Asics sneakers, and these definitely fall in that category. And overall, just visually speaking, I think you're gonna pull off some of the dopest outfits with this sneaker. Right, taking the number 6 spot, we got the Jordan 4 Cavestone. Now, this is a pair of Jordans that got everybody's attention for basically being identical to a pair of Travis Scott Jordan 4s. And yes, there's definitely a lot of validity to that statement because these things, I mean, they're practically identical. But you just can't deny how good this stony brown earth tone look is with the black accents and just how good it's going to pair with fall outfits. Styling this pair of shoes with like darker outfits is just a perfect match. Now, another big pro about this is that, you know, a couple of years ago, these things would have been reselling for hundreds above retail, but today, in 2025, they're not. I mean, Nike didn't even bother to put these things on on the Nike sneakers app. They just silently dropped them on the regular Nike app, which for a pair of Jordan 4s is almost unprecedented. Now, I know that currently at this time of recording, they haven't released for you guys out in the US. They're dropping September 6th. And potentially they might sell out there. I'm not entirely sure, but I doubt it. And honestly, if you ask me for my opinion, I would say if you waited a couple weeks after the release, you may find these things sat on shelves and under retail. Hey, if you do manage to catch a steal on these things, I don't know, 25-30% off, that is a massive W. It's a great pair of 4s, one of my favorite to drop this entire year. Speaking of favorites, coming in at number 5, the Nike V5 Runner. Yes, I know, I speak about this pair of shoes all the time, but I mean, it is literally hands down one of the best sneakers that Nike has made in 2025, full stop. Being a super comfortable, chunky retro runner and then only retailing for $90 is just a hit. You honestly can't really beat this pair of shoes on price, comfort, and just affordability. It ticks all of the boxes that the same shoes for a lot more money would tick. Now, these are obviously a great year-round sneaker. Doesn't really matter what season you want to rock this pair in, but there's plenty of dope colorways now and plenty of solid ones for the full time, so I highly recommend if you're on a budget, look at these things. Coming in at number 4, and sticking with Nike, we got the Pegasus Premium. Another slam dunk from Nike. This is one of the more interesting and cool pair of sneakers to come out of 2025. Probably one of Nike's best sneakers to drop as well. However, this one is not super affordable. In fact, it's pretty expensive at $210. But for that price, you're getting a lot of sneaker. I can't deny how good this pair of shoes is. It's one of the most, if not the most comfortable shoe that Nike offers. It's an incredibly cool feeling on foot because they've sandwiched all of their flagship foam technologies into this midsole. It has a really interesting, bouncy, and comfy feel. And a massive trend this year has been a lot of these brands creating hybrid shoes where they're like running shoes, but we know most people are going to be wearing them for like casual everyday wear. And this is just one of those shoes that really excels in both places, but I would argue they're probably better for like casual wear rather than like serious running. They're just super cool and good looking. They're insanely soft and squishy, so the comfort factor is just insane. And yeah, just overall would definitely recommend this pair of shoes if you know you're going to be wearing it for an extended period of time, be on your feet for a long period, something like that. This is a great option. Right, before we hit up that top 3, I do have a couple honorable mentions, which are big gems, so listen up. First one, the Puma Skepta Scope sneaker. Now, there's kind of 2 different versions. They've got the low tops and then the mids. I actually prefer the mids. I think those things are so cool. They've got like this really cool trail hiking vibe mixed with a sneaker. It's a very simple design, but just looks good. Great quality as well, made of all over leather, so it's going to be super durable. And the best part is that you can find these things steeply discounted at a lot of different places. If you just have a look online, I'm sure you can find them for like up to 50% off. Now, another great option would be Uggs. Now, there's a ton of different versions, which I've made plenty of different videos on. My recommendations would be the low mel sneakers. Those are pretty dope. The Tasman Hybrids, another great pick for the full time. And the Ugg boots. I can't remember exactly what the ones I have are called, but I love those things. I wear them all the time. All incredibly comfortable, look really cool, and just a nice, unique little addition to the rotation. Now, the last honorable mention would be Zellerfeld 3D printed sneakers. Now, during the full time in the winter, I typically wear a ton of 3D printed shoes. Like, I literally have no worries about getting these shoes dirty or getting mud on them. Like, you can literally just throw them in the washing machine or pressure wash them. I've done that before and they hold up perfectly fine. It's one of the more unique aspects of a 3D printed shoe. They're just incredibly durable and easy to clean. And of course, they do all of this while being some of the most comfortable pieces of footwear that you can put on your feet. Now, of course, I can't tell you all the pros without telling you the cons. A lot of them are pretty expensive, so something to keep in mind. And because each pair is custom made to order, you will be waiting a while for your shoe to actually ship to you. But hey, if you were ever interested in checking out a 3D printed shoe for the first time, I just recommend, seeing if you like them. Right, moving on with this list. Let's get into the 3rd spot, and I'm putting the New Balance 2000 firmly in that position. Yes, one of my favorite sneakers full stop of this year. These things are amazing. I love them. One of my favorite everyday sneakers that I just go to grab all the time. It's like a super cool, unique, futuristic looking shoe. They're also incredibly wearable. Like, I've worn mine plenty of times on walks, on like to the gym, running errands. Now, yes, there's not that many colorways to choose from because they're still pretty new. Like, they only launched like a couple months ago, but we've seen plenty more in the pipeline along with a bunch of different collaborations as well. So yeah, overall, great pair of shoes, super comfortable as well. I highly recommend checking them out. Right, coming in at number 2, a pair of shoes that I really did not expect to like as much as I do. It's the Nigel Sylvester Jordan 1. Typically, I'm not a black shoe guy. Like, I usually like a lot of light brighter colors, white sneakers, sale sneakers would typically be my preference. So before I even bought these things, I was kind of, expecting to be like, oh, they're kind of cool, but not really my thing. But boy, oh boy, was I wrong. Turns out this is like one of my favorite Jordan 1s to drop this entire year, and there's been some bangers. Like, there's just something about this colorway that is just unexpectedly so good. Like, you throw on a black pair of pants with this pair of shoes, and it looks great. There's something almost distinguished about it. You really see that sail midsole with a red outsole and those laces and the little mini Nike swoosh at the front. It's a super clean look. And there's also a really interesting thing with this pair of shoes specifically that differentiates it from a regular pair of Jordan 1s. First off, the materials are way better. Like, the leather on here is thicker and softer than your standard pair of Jordans. They've also changed these things up a little bit to make them more comfortable than a standard Jordan 1. Like, I side by side tested it, and they definitely added a thicker insole, so it's like squishier and softer. But also, I'm convinced that there is something slightly different with the shape because they just feel better. Now, I know that they did make some alterations to this, like the Nike swoosh is a little bit larger. They also added an extra lace hole for it. But yeah, I don't know. It's just a very, very solid pair of Jordan 1s, and I know it has the Nigel hype behind it, but if you can find these things at a decent price, I'd say go for it. But coming in at number 1, one of the most iconic sneakers of all time, the Jordan 4 Undefeated. Now look, I very, very rarely recommend people paying resale for a pair of sneakers, but these ones I'm pretty happy with saying, just pull the trigger. Now, obviously, there's a lot to this pair of sneakers. I'm not going to go over the full history because I already did that in my review. If you want to check it out, I'll link it in the description. But in short, the history behind this sneaker is very, very long. I mean, it is literally the first ever Jordan collaboration. And because only 72 pairs were made when they originally released, nobody even touched them. They were reselling for tens of thousands of dollars. So for people to really experience this pair of shoes for the first time when, like, before having the release of these, it was only like a figment of our wildest imaginations, it's just a crazy feeling, and a lot of people absolutely love this pair of shoes. And then obviously, aside from all of the storyline, like, the sneakers themselves just look great. Like, when I did my review for this pair of shoes, like, every different outfit that I put on, these things just looked great with all of them. Overall, it's a very well made pair of 4s. The storytelling was great, the release was great, and people are going to remember this sneaker for as long as they remember Jordan brand. But there you guys have it. Let me know what you think of my list and if you would make any additions to it. And of course, if you want to catch another video, I'm going to throw one up in the top left hand corner just over there.